of darkness.
Hey!
They refer to each other as the forces of darkness. I learned that before I became a speaker.
It's very unparliamentary.
Well, it was not intended to be a part of the formal proceedings. They refer to each other as forces of darkness. In fact, they learned it from elsewhere.
I've never referred to my colleague as a forces of darkness. I don't know where that is coming from. And I don't think it is anywhere part of the standing orders or anywhere described properly that that's the description of which. I don't know whether my colleague has said that he's a part of some forces of darkness. At least I know I'm not. And I've never been part of forces of darkness. I don't know whether you are.
On the same matter, please, let's leave it here.
This comes to me as a huge surprise.
It's all right, let's leave it here. Outside here, I know what the two of you do. So we'll leave it out of here. Yes. Item 6. Question time. There are questions for two sets of ministers. Which of them is available? Minister of Agric and the Minister for Roads and Transport. Yes.
Speaker, we'll take that of roads for now. Roads Minister's questions, please.
Yes, Honorable Minister for Roads and Transport, kindly take your seat. Yes, question number 427. The name of the honorable member for South Dai. You may please ask your question. Honorable member for South Dai.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Food and Agriculture.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm confused because we're starting from roads. Right. I should move on to. Thank you. Very well. We'll start from question number 328. 328. Honorable member for Bongo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to ask this question. I rise to ask the Minister for Roads when the bridges or culverts of the following stretch of roads would be constructed. I, Bion Nayire, I, Bion Azose, I, Tankon Walga, I, Akundo Bongo, Vin, Abokobisi, Sikabisi, and VI, Kuyelmo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the bill to Naili Road is an access track linking Bio to Naili in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. A river crossing at 0 to +300 is the main bottleneck, cutting off the Nayiri community. Currently, Mr. Speaker, there is no program for the road. But the future program is, Mr. Speaker, engineering design and assessment studies are being conducted to determine the hydraulic capacity and size of the drainage structure required for installation at the identified location. Estimates for the upgrading of the road will also be prepared by the end of the second quarter of 2022. The implementation of the project will be considered, Mr. Speaker, under the 2023 budget. Zo to Abozi Road, Mr. Speaker, the Zo Abozi Road is also an access track linking Zo to Abozi in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. There are two major river crossing points along the track. Mr. Speaker, there is no program for the road, but the future program is that engineering design and assessment studies are being carried to determine the hydraulic capacities and sizes of drainage structures required for installation at the identified location. Estimates for the upgrading of the road will also be prepared by the end of the second quarter of 2022, and the implementation of the project will be considered under the 2023 budget. Tanko to Wadriga Road. Mr. Speaker, this road is an access track linking Tanko to Wadriga in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. There is one major water crossing point on this length. Currently, there is no program for the road, but moving into the future, Mr. Speaker, engineering design and assessment studies are being conducted to determine the hydraulic capacity and size of the drainage structure required for installation at the identified location. Estimates for the upgrading of the road will also be prepared by the end of the second quarter of 2022 and then considered under the 2023 budget. Akundu Bongo Road, Mr. Speaker, this access track linking Akundu and Bongo in the Bongo district of East region. A river crossing at 1.6 kilometer from Akunko is a major bottleneck, cutting off the Akunko community. Currently, Mr. Speaker, no program for the road, but the future program is that engineering design and assessment studies are being conducted in the hydraulic capacity and size of the drainage structure required for installation at the identified location. Estimates for the upgrading of the road will also be prepared by the end of the second quarter of 2022. The implementation of the project will be considered under the 2023 budget, Mr. Speaker. Abokobisi to Sikabisi Road. The background to this road is that, Mr. Speaker, it's a partially engineered access road linking the two communities located in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. A previously existing 1.8 by 1.8 meter culvert located at kilometer 2 was washed out of place completely after a heavy downpour, making that stretch inaccessible. There is no program for the road. Engineering, design, and assessment studies as future programs are being conducted to determine the hydraulic capacity and size of the drainage structure required for installation at the identified location. Mr. Speaker, estimates for the upgrading of the road will also be prepared at the end of the second quarter of 2022, the implementation of the project will be considered under the 2023 budget. Kuyelinko Road, Mr. Speaker, this road is an access tract of about 1.3 kilometers and located in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. There is one major water crossing point on this track. There is no program for the road. Engineering design and assessment studies are being conducted to determine the hydraulic capacities and size of the drainage structure required for installation at the identified location. Estimates for the upgrading of the road will also be prepared by the end of the second quarter 2022, and the implementation of the project will be considered under the 2023 budget. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Yes, member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm a bit surprised. If you look at all the responses, it appears it's a template that is just it's just a caption that is different, it's a template. Look, the reason why I'm making this point is that if you look at the V, Roman number V, the Abokubisi Sikabisi project. This was a project that actually started somewhere around 2015, in 2016. And just after 2016, it was, the contractor stopped working because they were not funding other things. So I'm surprised that as part of the response of the Honorable Minister, he indicates that currently there's no program on it and that they are considering it for a possibility putting it in the 2023 budget. This is an ongoing project that has stopped. So I don't know why it's the same template that is being used for all the various projects that have been listed.
So what was the question? You're suggesting that is an ongoing project?
There is an ongoing project. So
yes,
why should that be the case that they're saying that there's no program there and that they are considering looking at the engineering? This is a project that has a contract that has been awarded. The contractor was on site. He's put up. You see that the project has been done to a particular level, and after 2016, it's stalled. So how do you reconcile the fact that there's no program there and you are now considering it for 2023, as against the fact that this is already an ongoing project that had been awarded to a contractor?
Yes, Honorable.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleague did say that the project was awarded respectfully by the previous administration, and that is ongoing. So far as our database is concerned, no, I cannot say for now. No, you might be right. The project was awarded previously, and perhaps the contractor would not perform, and I don't know whether it was terminated or something. But we are looking at the state of the road as at now. And so far as our database is concerned, there is no contractor on the road. That is why there is no program on it. So all the roads that I spoke about, so far as we are concerned, none of them have been awarded for this period. So I'm just giving you the information on the road as at now. But if it was awarded previously and the contractor did not perform, I may have to find out the contractor and what happened, and definitely, as at now, there's no contractor on that road. So this is the program we have for this particular road and all other roads that I spoke about in your constituency. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. I just hope and pray that you will just cross-check, because this is something that's on the ground. But again, my next one, I'm not too sure whether it's a question or it's a comment. If you look at Bion, Naire, and then Tankun, Walga, those two projects, those two bridges, indeed, it's a very serious challenge. Last year, we lost a child as a result of the fact that the child was trying to cross to go to school. All these two ones, you have kids having to cross the stream or the river to go to the next place to be able to attend school. So anytime it's during the rainy seasons, these are kids who are just cut off from schooling. Would you actually look at it within your context of these emergency projects that you do at the ministry? Would you consider looking at this as a special case instead of waiting till 2023 to deal with them? Because the rains are yet going to come.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that should always be the case. We have emergency programs for such emergency works. Though all road projects, whether they are bridges or direct road construction, are to be undertaken. But of course, it comes to a point that we have to prioritize some of them, based on the immediate needs and the emergency nature of it. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure my colleague that if we hold private discussions between us after this session, my ministry and government will always be prepared to undertake such emergency intervention. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Number 329 is also in the name of the honorable member for Bongo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Roads when the bridges and culverts of the following stretch of roads would be constructed: Zoko Ayoni, Akunza Ayoni, Tumbisi, Azelgutengane, Gamborno, and then Balumo Abeduni. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Zoko, Ayoni, and Akunza are communities located on the Zumbrungu to Namong Road, which is a regional road R115 in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. The road, Mr. Speaker, is 24 kilometers long. Currently, about 11 kilometers of the road have been awarded on contract in 4 lots to different contractors for execution. All the 4 contractors are running concurrently. The commencement date was 8th February 2021, and the completion date, Mr. Speaker, is expected to be 7th August 2020. The beneficiary communities along these projects include Zoko, Ayoni, and Akunza. Mr. Speaker, Lot 1, the project is titled Partial Reconstruction of Zumbrungu to Namong Road, and it covers the first 3 kilometers. The contractor has executed concrete U-drains and pipe culverts. The physical work progress is estimated at 34%. Lot 2, the project has the same title and it stretches from kilometer 3 to kilometer 6, also covering 3 kilometers. The Speaker, the contractor has executed concrete U-drains and pipe culverts. The physical work progress is estimated at 17%. Lot 3, under the same title, is also covering another 3 kilometers. That is from kilometer 6 to kilometer 9. The Speaker, the contractor has also executed concrete U-drains and pipe culverts. The physical work progress is estimated at 21%. Lot 4, under same title, covers another 3 kilometers from kilometer 9 to 11. Mr. Speaker, the contractor has executed concrete roof drains as well and pipe culverts. The physical work rated at 25%. Presently, Mr. Speaker, all the 4 contractors are not on site, and warning letters have been issued to them to return to site and ensure completion of the projects within the time of completion. Balungu to Abiodunye Road. Mr. Speaker, this road stretches from and form part of the Balungu to Longu to Via Feeder Road, measuring 8.3 kilometers, and is located in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. An existing 3/3 by 3 millimeter box culvert located at kilometer 6 near Abiodunye collapsed after a torrential rain, rendering the section impassable. Currently, Mr. Speaker, 3/4 by 4 millimeter box culvert has been constructed under the project titled Sport Improvement of Zari to Via Feeder Road, measuring 9.2 kilometers. Filling of the culvert approaches was suspended due to delay in payment. Completion of the work will depend on the payment of the outstanding RPCs to the contractor. Mr. Speaker, Avone to Tumbizi and Azeligo to Tingani to Gambolongo roads. The above roads, as mentioned, are gravel roads with poor surface condition and located in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. There is no program on any of these roads currently. Mr. Speaker, moving into the future, condition survey and engineering designs for the rehabilitation of the roads will be conducted at the second quarter of 2022 for consideration under the 2023 budget. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On the Zoko Ayone Akunzaru stretch, the minister indicates that the contractors are not on site, and that warning letters have been given to them to return to site. The understanding I also have is that government has also not released funds for them, and that's why they are not they are not at site. My question to you is that the narration of the contractors, that is because of the fact that they do not have money. That's what they are unable to do. How true is that? Is government up to date in terms of the releases for the construction?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is true that work done by contractors are to be paid for if certificates are raised within 90 days. This part of the contractual condition that the employer, which is government, enters with every contractor. But the same contractual arrangement does not allow any contractor just to park off site just because payment has not been honored promptly by government. because every contractor is supposed to have capacity and to be resourceful to carry out work. So if the employer, which is government, does not pay on time, the contractor has the right to claim interest on delayed payment. So this question of government has not paid me promptly, so I have withdrawn from site, does not conform to the contractual arrangement. At the same time, it is important that we engage contractors that are resourceful and that have capacity. But that has not been done in the past. Now, we are working on that route to make sure that we don't revisit this kind of development in our construction program. What can be done by the ministry is to write to them and to remind them of their obligation to go back to site and to carry out work. Failure to do that, the contract terminated and awarded to a more capable contractor. But that does not mean that government should also not make an effort to pay contractors. I thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think that before I ask my second question, it's important that the minister also recognizes that we have had a number of particularly local contractors who end up dying of BP and other things because they take loan bank facilities, they come, government delays in the payments, and the government's argument is about interest. They will pay interest, so they do not have to go. I've seen a lot of local contractors who have died just because they took facilities and they were being harassed by banks to do those things. So maybe that's an area you should be looking at very well, particularly with our local contractors. But to my next question, you realize that on page 28, under the Balungu Abindoni, road, you had indicated in the last, the third line on that's under current program, you said that filling of the culvert approaches was suspended due to delay in payment. There is a completion of the works will depend on the payment of the outstanding IPCs of the contractor. Mr. Speaker, the employer in this case is government. This is a project that you have awarded. Most often than not, when you award these contracts, and that because of the fact that the people do not have money to continue, and the rains set in, what then happens is that the project degenerates. You have all the things they have done, it gets messed up, and it becomes a source of inconvenience for people who even use those stretches. How soon are you going to make these payments available for the contractor to be able to work on this?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think I have agreed with my honorable colleague, there are consequences for payment to be delayed because road construction is a process. You move from one process to the other, and until the road is sealed and firmed up, all the area stages are exposed to deterioration, particularly if there is a torrential rainfall. So government paying contractors on time to enable contractors move ahead to complete project is paramount. But that's why I've indicated that anybody who hasn't got the capacity and the resources in road construction has no business entering there. In most times we get a lot of people, everybody wants to be a contractor in Ghana, but people fail to ask whether they have the capacity or the resources or the means to undertake that job. So government is always desirous to pay. And for the past 4 or 5 years, government has been paying a lot to contractors consistently. But, payment depends upon availability of money, and availability of money depends on the taxes that all of us pay. So if everybody pays his taxes and revenue accrues into the kitty and there is money, all this would be done. So let me use this opportunity to appeal to everybody, every Ghanaian, that we want growth, we want development, we want other things. You should be prepared to pay taxes. I thank you.
My last question.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just on the part that the minister ended about Ghanaians should pay tax and other things because they need roads. I see that in the 2022 budget, you had even captured that you are going to look at some of those things, so you need money. I think, is it possible, as a member of government, that the suggestions that have been given to government by the minority, that cut down on corruption, make sure that the tax waiver bill that has been brought here, we pass it. Make sure that the irregularities...
Is that a follow-up to your question?
It's a follow-up, sir.
It's not. Can they come back to your question,
yes.
please?
So the irregularities, the financial irregularities that have been captured by the Auditor General's report of about 12.8 billion. As a member of cabinet,
that is factually incorrect. I won't let you even repeat that.
Excuse me?
That 12.8 billion is factually incorrect. So let's move away. Come back to your question.
Okay, so let me come back to the fact that, is it possible that if we cut down on general corruption in public service, we'll be able to get money to do some of the projects that are yet even to be programmed on? I'm just using the last admonition that you gave to us, whether you are ready to cut down on corruption to ensure that we have money available for some of these things.
Honourable Minister, don't answer. Your last admonition was that contractors must make sure they have muscle before they bid for bids. So, please, don't answer that. Question number 336, Honourable Member for Jirapa.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways. When the contractor working on the Jirapa to Bibili Road will resume work.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Jirapa to Bibili Road is 17 kilometers long. It is an engineered gravel road in fair surface condition. It connects Jirapa on the Nadori to Jirapa to Nandom Road to Bibili on the Nadori Bibili Nandom Trunk Road in the Jirapa municipality of the Upper West Region. Mr. Speaker, currently 3 contracts have been awarded on the entire 17-kilometer road as follows. 1. Upgrading of Jirapa Bibili Feeder Road, Phase 1, covering the first 4 kilometers. 2. Upgrading of Jirapa to Bibili Feeder Road, Phase 2, covering kilometer 4 to kilometer 9.5. Upgrading of the same feeder road, Phase 3, covering kilometer 9.5 to kilometer 17. Mr. Speaker, starting from the first phase of the road, that is between Jirapa and Bibili, from kilometer 0 to 4, that is the first 4 kilometers. Mr. Speaker, contract for the upgrading of this feeder road as Phase 1 commenced on 9th May 2018 and is expected to be completed on 9th May 2019. works have been executed up to sea level with all safety furniture installed. Mr. Speaker, the project is 100% completed. 2. Upgrading of Jirapa to Babile Phase 2 between kilometer 4 to kilometer 9.5. Mr. Speaker, the contract for the upgrading of this Phase 2 commenced again on 9 February 2021 and was expected to be completed on 9 February 2022. Works executed so far include clearing of roadside vegetation, formation of the road, and the construction of double 2x2 meters box culverts. Mr. Speaker, works executed to date is projected at 9% physical completion. The contractor has abandoned site. Warning letters will be issued to the contractor to resume work, failure of which the necessary procedures will be followed to terminate the contract. C. Same Jirapa Babile Feeder Road Phase 3, covering the distance between 9.5 to 17 kilometers. Mr. Speaker, contract for the upgrading of this road under Phase 3 commenced on 9 February 2021 and is expected to be completed on 9 February 2022. Work executed so far include clearing of roadside vegetation, formation of road including side ditches and earthworks. Work executed to date is estimated at 7% physical completion. The contractor has abandoned site. A warning letter will be issued to the contractor to resume work, failure of which the necessary procedures will be followed to terminate the contract. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, this contract, the Phase 2 project was awarded 9 February 2022 and is expected to be completed on the same 9 February 2022. And the contractor only did 9%. In the minister's answer on page 29, paragraph 5, the minister is saying that they are going to issue a warning letter. A project that was awarded 9 February, and the contractor did only 9%, and it's now that they are going to issue a warning letter. My question is, what accounted for the contractor doing only 9%? The minister has not given reasons why the contractor is not at site. What are the reasons? What accounted for the contractor doing only 9%?
Honorable Minister, do you know why the contractor left after 9%?
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I did indicate in my answer that the length of the entire road is 17 kilometers. Because we wanted to speed up work, we lotted this stretch into 3 and gave to 3 different contractors. Mr. Speaker, in my answer, the stretch between Jirapa and Babili, the first 4 kilometers, the contractor executed the project and is fully completed, 100%. This is the type of contractor that we want to see in our country. Strong contractors who come in with seriousness and who have capacity and resources to work. The project was awarded to 3 different contractors. Why is it that within the period, one of them has fully executed the project and completed, the other 2 couldn't? And this is exactly what I am talking about. People come in for job, they bid, they win, and they disappoint all of us, not only government, not only your good self. They disappoint your constituents and the very good people of this country. So this is where government needs the support of all of us, that what is being embarked on now to cut off all contractors who have capacity to work should require the support of everybody. So I do not know why the contractor performed so poorly and so abysmally, but it's not far-fetched. It means that those contractors came in, won the contract because they put in their bids, but they didn't have the capacity to execute the job. As simple as that. We are taking steps to terminate all such contracts. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, before the contractor went to site, between Babili and then from Babili to go coming to Jirapa, there was a box culvert, and the contractor went to excavate the culvert. And as a result of that, the people from Babili coming to Jirapa and the vice versa cannot commute, or they cannot patronize the usage of the road. And I'm worried because the rainy season will soon start again. What assurance can the minister give to the people of Jirapa that the contractor will be able to fix the 2 box culvert? Even if that one alone is fixed, I want the minister to advise the contractor to concentrate on fixing the box culvert first, so that when the rainy season catches up, people will be able to use the road.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from my answer, there is no ambiguity about the capacity of the contractor. The contractor lacks the capacity to undertake any job on the project. So my ministry will not waste its time to direct him to go back to perform the activity of fixing the box culvert. Even the construction of the road itself, the contractor is incapable of carrying it out. How much more fixing a box culvert, which is a more laborious work and which involves a lot of resources, iron rods, cement, and you need engineers to be on site to work for you, and the contractor simply hasn't got that capacity. So my answer is that the contract will be terminated and a more capable contractor found. But because of the fear of perhaps impending rainfall and the danger it poses, that culvert could be brought under an emergency treatment of my ministry and see how it can be fixed by our mobile maintenance unit. If need be, we will take that option. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my last question to the Honourable Minister for Roads and Highways is, in as much as people want to be contractors, and in as much as many people want to be contractors or road contractors without having the capacity. But I also think that it is the duty. I also think it is the duty of the ministry to supervise and award projects to contractors that have the capacity to deliver. So, from what you presented here, Honorable Minister, one might be tempted to think that the ministry is sleeping on their job, and I will urge that you try to be on top of the job. If a contractor is not able to perform, you just said that one of them is able to work very well, which I have seen. I've seen the job that contractor did. Now, there is one that is not able to do anything at all because you awarded a project that was supposed to be completed within a year.
Cut the commentary and ask the question.
My question is that the ministry should be very responsible. The ministry should do due diligence in awarding contracts, especially road contractors or contracts to road contractors. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, I think this is an advice to you and your ministry. Very well. Honorable Member for Chanapaga, Thomas Adadalu, question number 338. Yes, may I ask your question now?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways when the Minister will complete works on the Kandaga to Srigu Road in the Kasana West district of the Upper East region. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Kandiga Junction to Seligu Road is 17 kilometers long. It is an engineered interdistrict feeder road linking Kandiga in the Katsina-Nankana Central District to Seligu in the Katsina-Nankana West District of the Upper East region. Mr. Speaker, the first 5 kilometers of the road is bitumen surface in fair surface condition, while the remaining section from kilometer 5 to kilometer 17, that is the next 12 kilometers, is gravel in poor surface condition. Currently, Mr. Speaker, the first 10 kilometers were awarded in 2 lots to 2 contractors in January 2011 and August 2011 respectively for bitumen surfacing and the cocoa board funding. The contractor executing the first 5 kilometers carried out the works up to the final C but failed to install the road furniture. The contractor working on the second 5 kilometers also worked up to base layer and abandoned the work. Both contracts have been terminated and is being considered for award under the 2022 budget of the Department of Federal Roads. The future program for these roads is that, Mr. Speaker, engineering design studies has been conducted on the last 7 kilometers of the road for rehabilitation. The implementation of the project will be considered under the 2022 Department of Federal Roads budget. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the attention of the Minister to the real state of that road as it is now, because you realize that a number of contracts have been awarded in the past and they've not been executed. Now the road has deteriorated to the point that there are what we call manholes in that part of the road. To the point that the members of the community have organized and filled those potholes. They are not potholes, they are really manholes. even to the point that some culverts along the road have been broken, and then the members will also organize to rehabilitate those culverts. So my question is, Mr. Speaker, how soon are these re-awards going to be done? And is it possible, if they are not going to be done now, for us to re-gravel the road, and to make it accessible? Other than that, when the next rains come, the people will cut off from the main towns of the place. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I fully agree with my honorable colleague. From my answer, the entire road, the 17-kilometer road, was given to two different contractors, and they really worked to substantial completion. The first contractor who worked on the first 5 kilometers even worked to the point of putting on the final seal, that is the second seal of the road. He was only short of putting on the road furniture. And the road furniture includes the safety measures, road signs, road line marking, perhaps crash barriers, and all that constitute the road furniture. So it was virtually completed. The second contractor also worked to substantial completion, but was short of sealing the road. So once the road was not sealed, it was obviously subjected to deterioration. And my answer also indicated that this project was awarded at that time, 2011, under COCOBO. So they have their own arrangement